go all out decorating for Halloween? And have you ever wondered what would happen if your plastic skeletons suddenly came to life and attacked? Then this book is for you. Hey ghouls, welcome back to the book Crypt. I'm horror comedy author DM Guay, and today we're talking about Cheap Plastic Skeletons from Hell by Dusty Trice. So our story begins in a factory where child laborers are working hard making plastic skeletons for Halloween. The factory owner is called Factory King, and he's not very nice to the kids. He basically treats them like slave labor, like he doesn't feed them very much. They work long hours, they don't get time off, they barely make any wages, they don't get any treats, and one night they decide they've had enough and they decide to rise up. They push him into a vat of molten plastic where he dies spectacularly, but then the molten vat of plastic is struck by lightning. And we all know that when something's struck by lightning in a horror, it never ends well. So the children decide to make one last batch of plastic skeletons. They make them, they pack them up, they sell them, and then they take the money and they run away from the factory to start new lives. They're finally free. It's a happy ending, right? No, it is not, because all of those skeletons are possessed by the spirit of Factory King, and they're shipped overseas to a discount department store in the United States. And then we meet Sean. Sean is setting up the Halloween aisle. Sean lives with his Uncle Gary, who is a big Halloween decorator and Halloween fanatic who's always trying to outdo the neighbors. So Uncle Gary stops by and buys 3 skeletons from Sean and then takes them home to decorate his yard. And Sean is finishing up at work, almost finished with the Halloween aisle, and is about to clock out when he realizes that there is a plastic skeleton standing behind him, and it's jumping around and moving on its own, and it's talking at him in Chinese. So of course we know that they're possessed by the spirit of Factory King, who is melted in the plastic to make the skeletons. In death, as in life, Factory King is not a nice guy, and he's had a lot of time in that container on the way from the factory to the store to come up with a plan for world domination and to come up with an epic villain speech, which he delivers to Sean. Unfortunately, Factory King speaks Chinese and Sean speaks English, and he has no idea what he's saying. He just knows that there's a plastic skeleton jumping around, clattering and saying words that sound like gibberish. So Sean laughs at him, which just makes Factory King even madder. And Factory King and all of his skeleton minions decide to come to life and attack the town, starting with Sean. Because that's what you do when you're a possessed skeleton, right? So long story short, Factory King's spirit has been transferred into the bodies of all the plastic skeletons that were made with the batch of plastic that he was melted in alive. So not only is he one skeleton, he is all the skeletons, including the ridiculous Halloween skeletons like the snakes and the snails and, creatures that don't have skeletons, right? And of course, he's decided to take over the world. So what is Factory King's evil plan? He plans to kill everybody. He plans to wear their skin as flesh suits over his plastic bones and usher in a new era of hell on earth where he rules everything. Because that's a great plan if you're a possessed skeleton. Every skeleton in the store comes to life and attacks Sean and his co-workers. So Sean has to fight his way out of the store. And then the skeletons are in the parking lot, so he has to fight his way through the parking lot. And then Factory King somehow manages to steal a semi-truck. Then we end up in a car chase. During the car chase, we see that the skeletons were not just alive in Sean's store, they're alive all over town. They're attacking people on the street, they're attacking people in their yards, they're attacking people in other stores. So Sean's like, oh, holy crap, I need to get home and save my Uncle Gary from the 3 skeletons that I sold him earlier. And then he and his Uncle Gary have to team up and fight off a whole town full of plastic skeletons. This book has a lot of fight scenes. It's mostly back-to-back fight scenes. And if you can imagine a ridiculous way that a human could fight a plastic skeleton, it's probably in this book. We even have a 12-foot skeleton that comes to life and attacks. I mean, I have to come clean with you. This story is not deep. If you are reading this hoping for big life-changing themes or depth of story, then you need to move along because this is not the book for you. This is a very light, very funny, very surface level book that's just about a couple of guys fighting plastic skeletons that are dressed in different Halloween costumes. And honestly, it's awesome. It's hilarious. And it's nice that it's just so light and fluffy and there's nothing deep. There's no mystery. There are no clues to like keep track of as you read the book. It reads like a low budget B movie, and it was clearly written by somebody who loves monster movies. And I absolutely love it. I had so much fun reading this book. I could not wait to hop on here and tell you about it. It's a fast, fun read that's good for a laugh, and honestly, we all need to laugh more. So Cheap Plastic Skeletons from Hell was written by a stand-up comedian named Dusty Trice. He has one other book called The Rise of Doctor Frownyface. And honestly, I'm hoping that he writes more books because this one was just a really fun romp and I would like more in the series. All right, Ghoul, that's it for today's Book Crypt. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if there's a book that you would like me to review for the Book Crypt, send me a note. Until next time, creep it real.